Today, we start a new venture on this beautiful island, which is going to be a destination for tourists to come. But first, we really have to focus on the local community, building something small, but the backbone of the island. This is not only going to just include residential and commercial, but farming as well. And this turns out beautiful. Let's get right into it. Hey there guys, welcome to Bauer Plays It, where we are starting a brand new series here on this channel. We are focusing solely on this island right here. Before we did a large city that hit over 100,000 in population over the course of 21 episodes, this we are expecting much less, but we are going to pack this island in. This island is going to be called St. Lawrence, which is going to be off the east coast, somewhere in the, I would say, southeast. Let's just take a look at this island. It's not that big. You can see the whole thing right here. It's got some shallow shorelines, which creates a interesting dynamic for what we are going to do on this. Looking at how things are and looking at the wind is actually starting here at this bay and then pushing out everywhere. And you can see that here in this pollution map. It literally is originating right here and then finally pushing out. I am going to just picture this as north is now up here, east, south, and west. So that is how our island is going to be. So let's focus up here on the north side of the map, which is where all of our highway traffic and our rail infrastructure starts. This goes off the map to wherever it's supposed to go. We have this island, which has a couple of barns already built in and a base, like very little infrastructure here. There's not really much out here. I mean, there's literally nothing out here. So this is a complete blank island to do whatever we want with, and I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do here yet. Then we come in and head this way where we have this small little inlet, or this small part of the island in between mountain ranges, or between two mountains or hills, however you want to classify these. This area is interesting. It looks like they've built a couple areas that are supposed to look like farms, which I think we will probably go ahead and just use what they've already labeled. If we look at the natural resources here and get rid of wood and just go down to land fertility, we are looking very, very good with fertile land. In fact, all of the areas are very fertile on this map. So anywhere where you build is probably going to be great to do any kind of farming on. Something that I do find a little interesting is if we are looking at fish population, we have these little spots throughout the island that has fish population there. So I guess if we really wanted to do a little bit of fishing in the island, we could. But honestly, I mean, why not just go out into the sea and do the fishing where it is maxed out? A lot of this island on natural resources is going to be mostly maxed out. So let's continue looking at this. I'm picturing this part of the island as like a local area where we have farmers and a small little community. We have a little port here already built out for us. And I'm thinking that we'll put like a fishing industry right here so that we can really get fishing going and get some natural resources to this part of the island. We'll get a train station stop here eventually as well. Moving further down the island and past this area, we have another one of those like little man-made lakes, or this one is actually up on top of a hill and has a dam that is blocking it from being accessed, and then a small little stream that creates the canal that actually goes out into the water as well. But this area, again, I think might be more locals. This is your not so farming locals, like if you want to say, and I think this is where I'm just going to have more locals and more of our residential areas, maybe some commercial and office buildings down here as well. We can also have some farming back here as well. Now, here is the main part of the island where I think I would want to put like a downtown area so that we could have a tourist destination here. I'm thinking a downtown, like Old Town-esque style downtown where we could have some tourist destinations, hotels, commercial buildings, the sorts all down here. And then as we get further down, we've got a bunch of beach side access that we can get transformed and make this a really nice beach, and then have some hotels and commercial spots along Myrtle Street. All the way at the tip of the island is just this little barn. We could put like a little inn or something up here that people would travel up to get to, which would be a fantastic view of the ocean. Now, we do have a couple of other random islands here we could do something with. We could also just leave. We've got that little one. And then way up here on the north side, we have this island, which would actually probably do great as either a tourist destination, like a private resort, or even maybe just a private island for some really rich people that only has access via ferry. So we have our work cut out for us. I have also unlocked every tile just so that I can have full control over the island. So I wanted to make sure that we can develop any part that we want to, but I will start with the residential first, get the foundation of the island, the reason why there are people here. I think I will keep the layout as built currently. I will definitely adjust it as needed, add some roads, edit some roads, and so on. I mean, this has dedicated sidewalks already built in with some alleyways. I don't hate the infrastructure that they've already built. I just want to adjust it. And we'll try to keep this as minimally external as possible. So I'm going to try to get everything in here that we need. So we're not really importing a ton. However, we're gonna obviously have to import some things because we're not gonna be able to make everything, but I'm gonna really focus on this just being a tourist destination. So let's start with getting our basic services set up with the electricity and water. That way we can start getting the island populated with residents and really start building things in here. So let's start in this area. We are going to build out this area with some residential, maybe a little bit of commercial, and some farming. So to get started, we again need electricity, and I do not have nearly as many assets as before. That I didn't download everything. So what we have here, these are static poppables. I want this one. I only have the North American, the French pack, and then the Southwest packs downloaded. Now, obviously, I can get into more, like the Dragon Gate is already installed, but I'm not going to use that. So we can get more through Find It as well, most likely. But I'm only wanting to use these because I'm picturing the French coming here, finding this island first, and then using it, and then it got more American influences, Southwest influences as people started coming and influencing. So there will be some parts in the old downtown or the downtown sections that might be more French influenced rather than North American influenced. So with all of that being said, let's actually start building stuff. We've talked long enough. So let's build this wind turbine. I am coming to the backside here where there is 6 megawatts of usage. We could go to the top, but I don't necessarily want to go all the way to the top. It just kind of seems odd. I mean, even if I go into, the weird thing is like, if I come in here into open areas, like, oh, I guess this does get some, but this area doesn't really get much. So I'm going to put it off to the side here, and I'm going to try to observe the topography as well as much as possible as I can see. And that way we're not killing the topography. I'm going to go ahead and place that right there, and we'll get a road connected to our area. Perfect. And we'll get a little cul-de-sac here at the end. And good. So we've got our electricity connected. That road means literally nothing. It's just connecting everything up. The next thing I want to do is get the water tower down. And I think I'm going to take this French water tower. And those of you that have played this game or have watched the Seabury series, you know exactly why I'm picking the French tower. Because I can get it placed and then I can actually upgrade it with sewage or with a filtration system to take in the sewage and then pump out water as well. So now I don't have to yuck up any of the water. The next thing I want to do is upgrade a little bit of this road layout. I want to take this alleyway with Road Builder, and I actually just want to add sidewalks to it. And that way we have a place for the residents here to actually walk. So we'll go back into Road Builder and we will make this a neighborhood street, neighborhood road. And we're going to bump this down to 20 kilometers per hour, maybe 25. 20 kilometers is probably 25, I guess. And then we will go ahead and remove the shoulders and add sidewalks. And there we go. I just didn't want the line that goes down the middle of the street. So now that we have this, we're going to go ahead and upgrade some roads where I'm going to have residential areas. And I don't want to use up all of this area because I do want farming to go back there. So actually I might just use this front portion for now. Okay, so we have a little bit of a residential area and I'm going to come in here. I'm going to add a little bit of a grid to here so that we can just fit a little bit more in here, a little better and a little bit more neat. I don't want to go too gritty because that's just not going to be super realistic. And then here, I think it's going to be fine. These will be kind of smaller homes compared to some of the larger homes. Now down here, I do want to change this a little bit. Obviously, we're going to have a fishing port coming out of here. So we'll want some industry here, but I do want to add a little bit of commercial here. So what I'm going to do here is still take that residential road, that neighborhood road that I created, and we will go ahead and upgrade these to add sidewalks all the way through. And then after that, I'm going to add a couple like a parking road that will allow, and I actually want a median on this one. So we'll throw this right through the middle and that'll give us some space on both sides. And then I probably will actually just put an alleyway here to connect that up. And then from here, we'll take a single lane road or a one-way road and build out to about here, cut down just a little bit, and then we will drop that with a single lane road, a one-way alley down to connect that up. We'll probably do the same thing here. Like so. And then that'll give us a little bit of a commercial strip that we can come in here and lay down some commercial. So now that services have been set up, the water has been set up, the electricity has been set up, I'm going to pause because I'm just bleeding money at the moment because I have no citizens. Let me go ahead and use Platter and we will start getting some people in here. And as I'm laying this second or third farm, I should say, we are now a tiny village, which gives us $150,000 and 5 development points. It also adds to loan limit, city budget, taxation, city statistics, a lot of different things. Medium density row housing for our different areas, including the EU. Vegetable farming, more roads, coal mining, and bridges, healthcare, and garbage management and landscaping. So it actually does add quite a bit to what we're doing. I'm going to continue building out some farms here so we can get this area sorted out. I'm going around these little barns because I think they're too cool to get rid of, and I want to keep them. Livestock, yeah, we're not going to use that. But I want to keep them in here. I think it just adds to the effect, but I don't want to like make it part of the farm. Cereal mill, not going to use. I'm not adding like super heavy industry here. I just don't think it makes too much sense. In this back area, I can't connect it to a highway, so if I want to add some there, I'm going to have to adjust that. We're getting all sorts of new stuff. The sports bar actually might go into the main downtown area. So we're already seeing some waiting for hearses. We've already got some people that are dying or sick. Well, that would be dying, I guess. So we do need to go ahead and extend some of our services, which means adding a small clinic. And I'm going to reserve that space for down here in the port area. I think I'm going to go ahead and just get that plopped there. And then I want to add probably a small cemetery. I think is going to be important. I think I'm going to actually add it about right here near the town. I think that gives me some small town vibes there. I guess we will move on to some of our commercial then. And same as before, I'm going to use Platter to get these plopped down. I will do some unzoned areas so that we can really control what this looks like. With the next segment here, I do want to add a little bit of medium density to here, but I don't want to add it here because I want to reserve this for the train station that we will soon bring through to this area. And I don't want to put it out here. I kind of want to reserve this again for some more farms if we need that space. So I think I'm actually going to use this area to do some medium density housing, and I might even do it over here as well. So we're going to go ahead and get this all set up and prepared for that. So after looking at this area, I absolutely hate everything that the commercial area turned into being. So naturally, I want this to be better, and we are going to go ahead and just destroy every one of these buildings. Okay, so what I want in this area is going to be, low density, with no parking so it doesn't mess up our parking road here. So what I'm looking for is, something that's going to be at minimum 4 in the lot depth. So I'm anything greater than 3, and we're only going to go with North American assets. I don't want any of the big skyscrapers down here. So we're going to get some of these buildings placed and get this all set up. Let's just take a look at what this looks like instead. I would like something wall to wall, but I don't think out here in this area it's going to necessarily matter as much. Obviously, we have this one last spot here, and I need something that's also just 3. So let's get this building down. Okay, so that'll give us some commercial for these residents and some jobs out here as well. So let's focus on the next part, which is industry, and I'm going to add some clean industrial manufacturing down here. This is really just to get some jobs into here as well and start producing some supply for these businesses. And like I said, just get some more jobs down here. I'm going to reserve this area for the fishing eventually once that comes through, but we do need to get some jobs, and I might put a couple more back along here as well. Okay, now with the residential, our farming community, our commercial businesses, and now soon to be our industrial areas being built, I think I'm going to go into a little bit of detailing around this area to get this all nice and good looking. You'll notice I have a different UI because I could not get to my extra assets window, and that was going to be awful. So back to the old UI, I guess. I had the new UI for the longest time, and yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and go back, which is fine. It's fine. So I'm gonna go into a bit of a detailing time lapse and see you on the other side. So looking at this, I am going through a bit of a worker shortage with the lack of labor. We're seeing this in the commercial, the industry, and the farming industry, and that's because we have plenty of jobs, just not enough people. There are currently 516 jobs. There are 475 people, 259 of which are employed. I have a 0% unemployment rate, 0% homeless rate. We're just not getting enough because there's truly not that many homes here. So what I might end up doing is actually taking some of these farms out and converting them into more residential, maybe like a couple of these out and maybe this one as well, and just really kind of zone this up. I may have also go ahead and bring a road up here on the hill and then put up some houses up on the hill as well. So we're going to do that and then get back into detailing. So now that we have St. Lawrence looking pretty nice, even with a commercial area here, all detailed up for the most part, what we're really lacking at is education, fire, and police. So let's go ahead and work on getting education. Now, most of these buildings are just quite large and they offer way too many student capacity, which is fine. And it'll protect it for the future, but I really just want it to be this community, and we only have 104 and 144 eligible for elementary and high school. I'm not worrying about colleges or universities, not at this level. I might add something later down, like a college, but that's going to be over here, I think. Maybe even over there. But I've got this area cleared out here, and what I'm going to actually do is just put down a static ploppable of the French elementary school. And now that I'm really thinking about it, I could probably, now that it's a static ploppable, probably add it over here instead. Maybe. No, it's going to go right here. So we'll get this added here, and then I'm going to get this back just a little bit off the road. So that's in there, and I want to make sure this is level so that it sits correctly. All right, there. Nope. You just move it to actually move it in place. Okay, so I think this is mostly centered up. We will go ahead and get a one-way alley right in front of it. And then probably actually add a little bit of parking on that as well. But I want it to be on this side. So I think I'm going to actually need to go into Road Builder. And then we are going to put down parking on the left side. And this is going to be at a 90-degree angle. So people are going to come over around and park it in there. And I want to add lanes. Yeah, there we go. And I guess to just make this better, I guess I'll do a one-lane road so people can walk up to it. And we'll just move that back as well. So that's fine. And then let's go ahead and not that one. I wanted that one still. Move the school back just a little bit. Again, should still be flat. Where's that floating? Looks to be on the ground. Okay. And then we will customize this one instead. Custom one-lane road with parking. Bring that speed way down because we're in front of a school. And then I don't need parking on both sides, so we can get rid of, actually, I need it on the other side. Sidewalk over here, and we will throw a regular sidewalk. Okay. No parking, correct. And then on this side, we will get to the point where I can then do a 90-degree angle. Maybe even a 60. 8. Oh, that's why. Yeah, I think that's going to be fine. And we will bump that up to a 4 to, nope, not bump that up to a 4. We will keep that exactly where it was. And perfect. So we added just a little bit of parking in front of the school. So now with that in place, we are going to go ahead and add this modular zoning block in which I can no longer get to it. So let's scooch that out just a little bit. And then we're going to add elementary and high school to this. So that gets me 100, 200 elementary, and we'll do 200 high school, maybe 300 and 300. That gets us 600. That's going to be plenty of space, I think. In fact, again, that's probably too much, but 300 of each. That'll definitely get us plenty of space here. Let's go ahead and scoot this just back into the school, and it's not appearing outside. Okay. Now we're gonna go ahead and place the fire and police stations down as well. And those I do want to be a little bit closer. I think I'm gonna add this USA Southwest Firehouse, and we're gonna add it over here. It's just in between the residential and the commercial area, and quick enough to get over to the industrial area if needed. And this asset looks pretty good as well. So that is there. We'll do a little bit of terraforming when we get up to the detailing. And then finally, we need the police station. This is neat. I think I might do this. This kind of would look like the town hall and a police station all in the same. And I think I'm going to actually add it here, which means I'm going to actually demolish these two businesses. And we're going to place that right down there. Probably we'll have to scoot this up just a little bit actually, so that we can get the modular zoning blocks in there, the service blocks I mean. So let's go ahead and pop that right in front so I can scooch that back in there. And what we are going to do is probably just 5 patrol cars and a little bit of a jail facility inside. And that's really all we're going to do here. This gets us 50 arrested criminals and 5 vehicles, which for this area should be plenty. And I realize I am backwards. Oh, okay. Let's scooch that on over there. Flip that to where it's supposed to be. Of course, I'm going to have to do some terraforming here as well. And we're going to just restart on this. Okay, like I said, French City Hall building will be our new police station. We'll get that lined up right here. Like so. And then that looks great. This will be a mixture of a city hall and, like I said, the police station will also come into here as well. So let's go ahead and get this zoning block in here, and we are going to add 5 patrol cars. We'll get this off to the side here, and then we'll add a jail facility as well. So now we have a police station. I need to move that, but it's going to move everything. So hopefully it doesn't move the jail cells out. Nope, it does not. I just moved the police cars back. That's fine. I'll get some detailing up of that. So we have the fire station, we have our education, and we have police. That really settles us on a lot of things. We're about to hit our 4th milestone here in just a moment, which will be Grand Village, which then we can create a district, get some policies enacted if we need to. And here it is, Grand Village. This gives us more things that I probably will not really. Ooh, that looks nice. This also adds the transportation tab, which is going to be great. Parks and Recreation. This will be fantastic for us now. So let's do some last minute detailing, and we will probably call this episode a wrap for St. Lawrence. All right, so we now have the school that is sufficiently detailed up. I really didn't do much with the fire station other than adding the maintenance bay, and then we got the city hall slash fire or police station set up as well. I figured we probably need some churches. I mean, this island is called St. Lawrence for a reason. So I do have a couple assets here, and I noticed we are running through a worker shortage. We've got to figure that out. I have two assets here, the Gothic Revival Church, and then I also have the Jacobi Church, which is a Protestant church in the Netherlands. This one might be a little too big for the area. This one kind of seems a little bit fitting. I think I want to add it. Probably, see, that's the problem, is I waited too long to get this placed, and I should have got it placed a long time ago. And it should have been like the town center. And I will definitely be sure when we get over here to add at least one or two churches, but I do want to get one in this area. So I think what I'm going to actually do is move this over just a tad. Get rid of some trees here. Some additional trees here. We'll remove these trees here as well. And I think I'm going to get it placed right here. I want to make sure it's facing west. The entrance is facing west, which we decided that is north, so that is west. So entrance is facing west, which would be this corner here. And we'll get this squeezed in right about here. And with better bulldozer and some detailing, we can get this nicely situated. And in reality, I just need to remove a couple of these, I think. That, maybe some benches. We'll get some grass around here and probably just some trees. I don't even necessarily know that we need to mess with too much of the detailing. Okay, so we got the church in there, and now I think this community is sufficiently pretty good. The only real thing that I can do to add more residents is to either remove more farming or take some down here and do some beachside, which is something that we might focus on the next episode, because the next episode we are at the Grand Village. That's not what I meant to do. That we can actually come in here and do... Wait, I don't even need to go in there. It's just in here. I can now do fishing. Nope. Progression node water. I got water now. Now I can actually bring in people, and most importantly, I can include a fishing business. So we can start getting some fishing going, which will be fantastic, and that's going to be great. So we will get that up in the next episode for sure. To wrap this up, we need to just give this area a district. So this is not going to be named Emerson Junction. We are going to name this, give this a French name here, and it's going to be Ville Laurens, which is really just the old quarter. This is going to be the first establishment of St. Lawrence. So this is the old town here, and I am absolutely in love with this. Hopefully you guys are too. Let me know what you think of it and what I should include here before I move on to the next area. Obviously, we will get fishing in here. so that we can start producing fish. We will also work on this southern bank, and get some houses down here. We'll probably add some beachfront as well for these houses, and maybe start working our way up the mountain a little bit with some residential, just so we can get some residential in the area. But that'll be all on the next episode. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bells for this video and for this channel. Anytime I drop an episode, if you got those notifications on, you will get an alert in YouTube knowing, hey, it's time. Also, join the members only community where you will receive all videos in advance, plus any bonus content that I put out on YouTube. You can always join our Discord. The link is in the description, where you can chat with me directly and give me some advice and feedback on this episode and all future episodes. And what do you look forward to next? Put that in the comments. And until the next video, have a good one. Bye.